Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid, only at Docomo Pacific.
Try Wendy's deliciously indulgent mushroom bacon cheeseburger made with juicy beef, crispy applewood smoked bacon, savory roasted mushrooms, Munster cheese, and a creamy garlic spread, all on a soft toasted bun. Make it a combo and try it in a double or triple. Wendy's. Good. Done right. Beat the heat and indulge in fruity cold smoothies at Cold Stone Creamery today. And if you're looking for a healthier alternative, they've got an acai bowl packed with fruits for a refreshing holiday from the hot sun and whatever is stressing you out. Take the family, treat your friends, or hog it all to yourself. Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
Kandit News is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
Why am I doing this outside in the rain
what the
and the sun? 6:46 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. I was disappointed but not surprised when yesterday morning when I started getting my WhatsApp filled with pictures of the billboards that Attorney General Doug Moylan had put up there. Good morning, Doug. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning, Ray.
Bro, should we just have a place for you in the studio? You wake up, get your coffee, and just come by here because you've been our first get for the last 3 days, and we talked about this last week. And I told you how I was kind of hoping that maybe this would have some kind of an impact. This is not, though, the impact that I thought was going to take place. One of them, I think this is the one over at in Agania, says Moylan hates poor. Something is scribbled something else in there.
Yeah, it says Moylan hates poor, and then somebody, probably with an education, put PPL on it. Moylan hates poor people. They put PPL because they couldn't fit it in.
Yeah.
And then the other one is indebted to overpasses, housing is a human right.
No, it's not.
Ray, these are profound political messages. They're not the gang tags that we normally see in Tumon and stuff. This is a political attack and a hate crime in response to a law enforcement operation. So, you look at it for what it is. You look deeper into the psychology of the individual that spent one night with a black spray can hitting two signs that were making a statement that we're going to clean these, we're going to enforce the law, basically, especially at the intersections, which are dangerous to not only the men, women, and children in those cars, but also the panhandler themselves. They lose their footing in that median, and they're going to be right in front of a car and get run over by those tires and will probably die. So, these are the reasons why the legislature, and look at the statute, they give at least 3 paragraphs on exactly why that panhandling law was important, especially at the intersections. So somebody that had a beef to pick with our office and our statement and our law enforcement activity did this. And, quite frankly, Ray, this is the perfect use of our money because it floated an idea, it floated the law enforcement idea, and somebody bit at it. Somebody with the Moylan derangement syndrome. They were triggered by those signs out there. And, quite frankly, I love it. We're not going to take it down. These simpletons. Just take gas and you can wipe off the black spray paint, right?
Depending on where the panhandler is at Home Depot, there's a graffiti spray paint remover that you can buy. But I'm with you. I leave that up there. That up there. I think that's adequate testimony. I hope they come back and write some more.
Yeah, and this is on the heels of another trigger by the governor's office. Those guys sent that Guam Housing Coalition release out there. We responded, basically says, your beef isn't with us. Go to the legislature, change the law. Our job is law enforcement. So, you're looking at the mentality of the governor. This is a political issue that's out there right now.
But it's not your issue. As you pointed out, where's the buck stop? It doesn't stop at the Attorney General's office. It does where it comes to crime. It does where it comes to law. But the engaging the people of Guam and figuring out what it is that we're supposed to be doing for them, taking care of their needs, that's the governor. And if anything, it's the lieutenant governor as well.
Right. And, Ray, this raises what is America? America is not a land of handouts. We are the working class capitalists that make a better quality of life for us because we get up in the morning, we go to our job, we earn our living, and then we live our lives and raise our families. Then you have this entitlement class out there, which is the nature of that the Guam Homeless Coalition release. The handout state, what do they call it? They call it the welfare state. The United States is not about giving people money. It's about coming and finding an opportunity to make your life, to feed your family, to make a home for yourself. Guam has lost sight of what America is about. We protected those United States citizens. We became U.S. citizens during World War II. We, of all people, should be the light in the Pacific for what the United States stands about, not fighting about stupid panhandling going on in intersections or homeless encampments. And you're talking to the guy. Don't call me Moylan hates the poor. I'm the head of that Guam, the Dignity Project. We are on track to be helping those homeless out with a system that works for 24 hours. Give them their dignity. Give them an opportunity to get a job. Ray, this is the thing about get a job. Stop asking us for money. Go out and go to the Department of Labor, which is the governor's job again. She's got most of the $1.3 billion that all of our tax money is. Your job, Governor, is to help these people. Get in a van, get one of our taxpayer vans, the Guam Homeless Coalition. Go down to those intersections. I will give you 15 minutes to get down there. We will notify you when we start our operation. You get your van down there, and you go to that person in the middle of the intersection with that sign and take them up to the governor. They can use her beautiful conference room and then fill out a form for public health and get vetted if they're actually poor. There is no establishment that these people are poor, Ray. You follow those guys. That's what that camera's going to do. When they run into their little Toyota, Lexus or whatever, we're going to see exactly who those people are that are panhandling. It sounds like a racket going on out there.
Oh, arguably there are homeless people. They've done the count, and something needs to be done about that. On screen right now, that somebody sent me this picture. This is the homeless individual that lives across the street in Harmon, which is the capital of crazy. But we need a police precinct there, right there at that intersection. But there's somebody that's just there's the sidewalk. Nobody else can use it now because that's somebody's house. And I recognize that it might be somebody hard time down on their luck. There are ample government programs to take care of it. Has anybody from the government gone down to see this person, help them out, bring them someplace where they might be able to live? Didn't we just buy for a couple of $1 million a complex down in Adelup or Anigua that was supposed to do that? Right.
Then they haven't got a project. That's why this 24-hour help for them in the hotel motels has been set up. But that's the Attorney General. Ray, the governor's job is doing exactly this. This is what you get when public health, safety, and education start failing. You get the homeless, you get people going out to the intersections. But what is that? This is a call to action for the governor and law enforcement. Law enforcement, follow the law, enforce the law. Governor, as I said, get in those vans, send your people down there, and pick those panhandlers up. Offer them to go up to public health like we did March of 2023, when we broke up that homeless encampment with the mayors and the lieutenant governor across the mall. That's their MO, Ray. They've set up again on Harmon. They've got a homeless encampment that's right next to, I think, Bank of Guam over there, and then they're into the middle of the intersections. That's what they're doing again. They did that over at the mall. We broke it up. When we got them help, Mayor Savares at the Dedito Flea Market, we got down public health, Department of Labor, everybody to give them immediate triage help. If they need help, that was there. It was just mobilizing with the AG's office overseeing it, the governor's cabinet. This is the governor's cabinet's job.
Boy, but at the first hint of resistance, that folded.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the resist. It was just, I don't know why. The mayors kept calling me up, and I was calling the governor's office, and I was saying, when's the next one? The program was every mayor in every village was to identify their homeless, and then we were going to mobilize, clean up that homeless encampment. DPW went in there with their backhoes and the dump trucks, took off those cars, took out the junk that was in those homeless encampments. The governor stopped it. You tell me, Ray. And then she went off on this dream of building something in first we issued the legal opinion. She didn't like it. And all it said was get the legislature involved. Then she's morphed it now into the Manila dream. So, Ray, the governor is the crux of all these problems. She's inhibiting our ability as a community to move forward and to make us a better place to live. It's the governor.
Yep. Swing by next time you need inspiration on.
And that's what we're doing here today. You put something out critical about the Attorney General Doug Moylan's latest billboard, and talk to us about how you reacted when you first saw that and what you think needs to be done.
Well, the obvious adjectives come to mind: appalled, disgusted, shocked. Once you get over that, and you have to accept the fact that a government official actually did this, spent taxpayers' money in condemning these people who have already been marginalized. It's not acceptable. It's absolutely not acceptable. And at the first opportunity I had, I stepped out to condemn it, and I will continue to condemn it. I don't know what is wrong with some of these rich people. They just don't seem to understand how difficult, very difficult it is to be poor. How difficult it is not to have a place to receive mail or a government check. How difficult it is to realize that no matter how excruciating the dental pain you're going through, there's not going to be any relief for it, and nobody's going to come down to protect you and save you. And yet the government uses taxpayer dollars to condemn. That's I don't know any system of government in which that is acceptable. I have no idea whatsoever why Mr. Moylan would do that. It's peculiar. 2 days before that, he wrote a letter to the presiding judge of the Superior Court saying he didn't have enough prosecutors. Please start moving all the cases around because we no longer are able to prosecute the cases. At the very same time, he's expending government resources in a campaign to condemn our brothers and sisters here on island.
He said that he is not the lawmaker. He is just enforcing the law. And Mr. Moylan's argument is that it was the legislature who enacted this law that made it criminal to panhandle, at least without a permit, these intersections. What do you have to say about that?
Was it Pontius Pilate who sent the Christ off to another person for judgment, washed his hands of him?
Yes, sent him to King Herod, and King Herod sent him back.
Okay, all right. So that's what I'm hearing from the Attorney General's office. Oh, it's not my fault that I've caused all these injuries. It's the legislature's fault for instituting a plan for panhandling, as he calls it, panhandling that would make these individuals safe. But that wasn't sufficient for him. He thought they had to be made fun of. He thought they needed to be humiliated. And I don't see where that deeply unchristian, deeply unspiritual, deeply unkind impulse comes from.
What message do you have for Mr. Moylan and his office regarding this?
The message I would have for Mr. Moylan, not so much his office, because I understand that the office over there is just in despair under his leadership, but for Mr. Moylan, you've got 2 years left in office. Take some time to reflect on why it is you ran for Attorney General. If you ran for Attorney General because you were seeking popularity in higher office, then you need to step aside right now. We entrusted you with the enforcement of the laws here on Guam, a compassionate enforcement, not an enforcement that causes undue pain, an enforcement that actually enforces the law so the community is improved. In no way is the community improved by this campaign to shame people for being poor. It is not compassionate to tear families apart by insisting upon deportation for individuals and putting their pictures up on a billboard that causes untold amounts of pain. I think that if somebody in your office, if you would listen to the community, if you would listen to the people you have injured, I think you would find yourself tacking a new course.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday on the Patty Arroyo show. I heard you this morning on the Patty Arroyo show. A good interview. Yesterday, Patty Arroyo was talking about this issue, and she brought up when Elizabeth Barrett Anderson was a judge, one of the things she talked about was her compassionate sense of justice and how Judge Elizabeth Barrett Anderson was cognizant of the burdens that the courts would place on the corrections system, and how she looked for ways as a judge to keep people out of prison if they didn't if she
Yes.
thought they didn't belong in prison. Can you talk?
Yeah,
that sounds like a lot of lawyers speak. Can you just make that easier for me to understand?
Yeah, that's entirely appropriate. The first step is not to throw somebody in a jail cell. The first step is to see whether or not they can be released in a pretrial context. And if they are going to be punished, let's make the punishment fit the crime. Let's not go for a cheap headline. I know that because I appeared in front of her many times, Judge Barrett Anderson was an individual who sentenced people, and she did sentence them toughly, but it was with compassion and an acknowledgement that these people who have done wrong were also humans and were also our brothers and sisters.
What duty does the Attorney General have to be compassionate?
The Attorney General to be compassionate. The Attorney General has an obligation to enforce the laws of Guam with equity. Equity means, is a lawyer speak for fairness. It's not fair to put a first-time offender with no danger to himself or society after being served that punishment. It's not fair to continue to punish them and do so by humiliation. In fact, I don't know if you were aware of this, but the Attorney General is now insisting that all plea agreements contain a provision, it's entirely illegal, it's unenforceable, that would require these people who have decided to own up to the error they have made and plead guilty. Now, if and at the whim of the Attorney General, would appear in advertisements for him, I suppose, for billboards and radio and whatever. I guess talking about, oh, I'm a bad guy, don't be like me, whatever it is. It's entirely illegal and was met with ridicule, I would say is fair word, and skepticism.
If the attorney, last question on this matter, if the Attorney General changed course and began to focus squarely on criminal prosecutions involving violent crimes and drugs, drug trafficking, and also on public corruption, would you be more inclined to have some confidence in him or to be supportive of his efforts?
It would take, I'd be supportive of the efforts, but it would take a long time to become confident in that. His track record, if you want to know how somebody really acts, what they really think, look at the way they are behaving. I don't have, although, he might try and change his colors, I don't know that that would be accepted with unvarnished acceptance. I don't know if that would be accepted as a true Doug Moylan. This sense of whatever the opposite of compassion is, I don't know from where that springs in an individual. I don't know what sort of an individual is unable to separate cruelty from compassion, cruelty from justice. And that's what we're seeing here. It's deeply unsettling that we would have this individual as an Attorney General. It's very, very clear that the criminal laws of Guam have to be enforced, but they have to be enforced for all, rich or poor, the connected and the unconnected. Everyone should realize that they are subject to the law, and there is nobody going to come and wave a magic wand just because they happen to be from a prominent family, or because they happen to be rich, or they happen to be well connected, or a political figure in the Guam legislature. That is no protection at all from the law.
I'm sorry, you brought something up about the legislature, so I'm going to have a follow-up question about that.
Sure.
So you have this enforcement of the panhandling law in a way that you are saying does not interest equity.
Well, well, I don't know that I'm so much talking about the enforcement of it, because the law is the law, and the law is designed to protect both the pedestrians, the people seeking the money, and the people who are on the roads. But we have put together a scheme that will make that happen safely. Orange vests, doing it in certain locations, but not all locations, because it's plainly unconstitutional to outlaw it altogether. People have a right to gather and move around the island and speak, etc., and so forth. I don't know that the problem is the law. Rather, it is an individual who has an enormous amount of power, who has decided to wield that sword in such a way as to unfairly, inequitably hurt people.
Well,